Okay. All right. Should be live up for all of you guys. Just make sure it went to everybody. All right. Looks good. Goody. Uh, I even with most of the technical difficulties ironed out, which I'll tell you here in a bit, I can't share my screen. I don't know what's going on. It's been a bit of a mess. So this is going out to all of you on Rumble, YouTube, locals. Uh, welcome Substack because streaming over there as well. I'm streaming to. Oh, it looks good too. Good, right on. This also goes out to Twitch, X, and D Live. So that means about two other platforms I could have live streamed to that I'm not. But to consider this a stress test of Rumble Studio. Rumble Studio is performing a little better today than it has been. Ah, it's messed up quite a few of my videos, my streams lately. But for those of you on YouTube, let me start off because I did put out a podcast because I couldn't get anything to freaking work. So I switched my podcasting hosts from Spotify, which used to be Anchor because Spotify bought them out, and I changed over to Substack. So in order for that to happen, I had to redirect the RSS feed. For some reason, YouTube, before I could do anything, they got the notification pretty quick that I changed my podcasting hosts and ended up pulling so many podcasts from Substack, which were duplicate episodes that were already elsewhere. I had to upload individually to Substack. I've had to upload to YouTube and Spotify all independently. And I'll explain why I ended up going to Substack entirely. But anyway, so all that happened, and I didn't get the notification from YouTube that they were doing this until I went to the creator studio and I said that we're updating episodes from your RSS feeds. It says updating episodes. I'm like, okay, you're updating. I didn't think much of it until I noticed what they were doing. They were uploading episodes that were already there. And the thing is, they got the dates, the timestamps correctly, but they still publish them as if they were being published right now. But if you look on on the creator side, it'll say when that episode was published 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever it is, even weeks ago. But for that subscribed to me on their subscriber list, you just saw me spamming the subscriber feed. And I'm like, "Well, why am I losing so many subscribers? I haven't posted anything." And then at night, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, for real?" So I had to manually go after disconnecting the redirect, disconnecting the RSS feed entirely. I had to go in there and stop the uploading and having to manually remove some things. And yeah, it was an exhausting uh, time having to undo what YouTube did, especially since you got to go one by one by one, and there's no really a function to be able to take all those out because you have to find out which of these are the episodes because I can't just filter them by the most recently published because they weren't recently published according to the timestamp. They were recently published years ago, but the feed was showing like they were brand new. So I'm sorry to those of you that saw spam. I hope that some of the subscribers will come back after realizing that was a mistake. I was getting pretty close to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. But thanks to that mistake, YouTube, I ended up losing quite a few. So that's a bummer. But today, nothing was working. Nothing was working. And I don't know what entirely was at fault because even though I let some systems push in major updates, it still didn't really fix the camera issue. So I'm actually streaming from Rumble Studio proper, and I'm broadcasting to so many other platforms right now. So that's hence the stress test to see how all this goes. And let me put this banner down. It's up there. So let me remove my logo then because it just doesn't look right. Uh, okay, I'll remove my logo for now. So that annoys me too. I think I should put it at the bottom. Uh, okay, there we go. Okay. Alrighty, so that's where you can follow me across the socials. That typically is where a lot of the behind the scenes actions happen and a lot of my political commentary happens. And because of the technical issues and the time that it ate into my day, I was not going to stream as long as I had hoped to stream and to be able to speak to every one of you. So let me just give you some updates that are happening in the background because I was supposed to do a tech episode today, but then I switched it to try to talk about the one big beautiful bill passing because that was major news, especially right before Independence Day. And I already talked a little bit about this on the podcast, so I won't retread a lot of that. Go check out the podcast because in that one, I reiterate what will Elon Musk do then, because he stated on X that he was going to retaliate against the Republicans that passed this bill. So that would include 50 Republicans in the GOP in the Senate and all but two of those that voted yes in the House, and that would also include JD Vance, that Elon will have to work to primary. Um, and he's also supposedly by tomorrow, and very spot on too, that he would start a new party, that party being called the American Party. And I've expressed myself about all this before. I talked a little bit about this in the podcast, so I'll just share what I didn't share on that. And for those of you that don't follow me on the socials, I'll just say what I said there. I'm not entirely in disagreement with Elon and his concerns about the bill. I've expressed myself as much on the socials, but at the same time, I don't trust him on politics because everything else that he does, aerospace and technology and what he's pushing for EVs, dude, you're our modern day Tesla, Steve Jobs in this space, in this sector. History books will be written about Elon. The thing is, here's someone that is he threw himself headfirst into politics, declared himself dark MAGA, not understand that he's not MAGA. He's never been MAGA. It's like, do you even know what MAGA means? It's a movement that's been around for some time, and knowing that's been around since what 2016. Elon has run against all of that, endorsing and donating to Democrats, liberals of all sorts, and helping Joe Biden's campaign. So, if anything, he's worked against what MAGA was. MAGA hasn't changed. So, for him to declare himself as Dark MAGA and now do this, that he's going to be going up against all these Republicans and of course standing diametrically opposed to Trump. In this case, like I put this out on my socials, I respect Elon for a lot of different things. I don't trust him. I've expressed myself how X is not really a free speech platform if you cross Elon, because Elon, if he doesn't like what you have to say about things that he's passionate about, he'll go to war with you. Those are his words, and he'll remove your livelihood. That's why when the whole Trump versus Elon thing happened last month, um, I I put out there, it'll be interesting to see how many of the true MAGA influencers will say nothing because they'll be too afraid to speak out. And including some people that I know, they weren't saying anything, and I knew they were against Elon, but they wouldn't say anything because they were scared after what happened over the winter. So that's all to say that no, I don't trust him. And what does it mean that he'll do an American party? Will he do it? Oh, I'm sure he can. Will it get anywhere? Not really, because he's not good at politics. So once he realizes that if he has a bunch of people that he'll back and try to gain influence, but he can't rally a coalition around it because some of the Elon stands and lapdogs actually think that Elon's the one that got Trump elected. Where the hell have you been? Please. It's like after July 13th of last year, we knew for a fact that Trump it was always going to be his to win it. But what happened at Butler, Pennsylvania cemented that he was going to win no matter what. It was after that that Elon jumped on the Trump train. He was not on the Trump train at all. So for him to go as far as to respond to Trump, like, oh, cut all the subsidies, the idea that it means anything now. He made the only reason Tesla got off the ground in the first place are through subsidies. That's why in the early days of Tesla, I was against it, like I was against Cylindra and any other EV thing that was out there. By the way, that thing about Cylindra, there's a lot more to that story that wasn't actually told, even by the right. So I might touch on that with the guest that I'm arranging for sometime in August. That's very knowledgeable in that area. But anyway, I was against all this EV stuff because EV is not the future. Yes, to have that futuristic stuff, but dude, you're not going to do it with the combustion engine. The whole idea of getting rid of fossil fuels and all that. But anyway, the point is that I stood against Elon at the time because I saw him as a liberal and to some extent socialist. Here's someone that wasn't born and raised here and doesn't know the Constitution and doesn't know our political way of things. And here he was supporting things that I was opposed to. And he was getting government grants and subsidies to get off the ground. And to me, that's more of the same. But things did change for me and my perspective with Elon when I saw that he paid the stuff back. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. But the company still relied on a lot of these things. So a lot of these contracts and are contracts with the government. So be it. But subsidies, with Trump saying he's going to eliminate them or whatever, and Elon says, I've been saying cut them away. Yeah, the difference is that this time it's like Elon started here, subsidies got him here, and now that he's up here and made all his wealth, pull up the ladder behind him. He's already made his wealth. Pull up the ladder behind him. That's what cutting subsidies means. It's like it won't affect me either way. I'm already rich, kind of thing. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's not going to affect you now. But if it had happened that many years ago when you were trying to get off the ground, then yeah, you wouldn't be where you are today. So I think it's dishonest. A lot of this bantering back and forth is, well, the whole thing is stupid. I'm sick of the politics, but that is what we're living with today. So the big beautiful bill passes. Trump's going to sign it. I'm assuming he's going to sign it on Independence Day. How on the nose is that? And will Elon retaliate by starting his party? And if it's made of a bunch of libertarians, we know it's not going to go anywhere. I'm sorry, it's not going to go anywhere. But I need to point this out too, though. I wasn't going to talk about this part until a little later, about the woke left and the woke right. But yes, get the rhinos out. But as of right now, MAGA retaliating also against Thomas Macy for standing on principle. That's no better than Elon threatening every other Republican that was supporting the bill. I honestly see it as the same thing. It's like, dude, you both are criticizing one another about the very things that you both are doing. Yes, get rid of the rhinos because the Republicans in name only, and they've been voting just pure Democrat. And the kid Thomas Macy, yeah, I have my issues with him, but do I believe he needs to be primaried over it? Like, come on, that's gone. That's gone far. It's really gone far. It's like, nope, bend the knee or off with your head. That's really what it comes across like to me. So there are some that criticize and say, dude, you guys are just worshiping Trump. He can do no wrong. So, like, sorry, he's a man. He does plenty wrong, especially right now. Yes, a lot of victories. A lot of victories. These past 2 weeks have been an amazing, amazing time for the Trump administration. The most epic 2 weeks. If you thought the first 100 days were something, these past 2 weeks for the Trump administration had just been incredible in any presidential history. But at the same time, there's wrongs that are happening here as we align ourselves with groups that were our enemies and are still actively trying to mean us harm. But Trump shaking hands with the president of Syria? Yeah, that's not going to sit well with me for a long, long time. That's a very bloody hand that he was shaking. Let's just put it that way. So that's, like I said, there's a lot that's going on. But hey, this is his chance to breathe in. It's a hard fought victory, and we'll see what happens because I was not a supporter. I'm not 100% on the big beautiful bill. Never was. So we'll see what happens. And my other issues are with the Palantir contract and now with the OpenAI contract that was recently done. I'm like, oh, great. And then add into the mix Robert F. Kennedy Jr. trying to encourage everybody within 4 years to be wearing wearables. You know, which is the movie that woke me up to the dangers of being tracked and how we won't have any privacy and someone at the flick of a switch can control your life. That was Minority Report. Minority Report, the part where Tom Cruise is escaping, and as he's trying to get away, and he's talking to Lamar on the screens, like, and then next thing you know, it the car's being towed back electronically back to the parking garage. It's like, oh, they found me. Of course, they found you. They're looking at you in the computer. Flick the switch, and he has to return. Then he has to make that crazy daring escape from the car on the highway. That that was 2002. That scared me. Like, oh, I love tech, but I don't like tech that much. And then before that was the movie that woke me up growing up as a how much government surveillance happens, and that's Enemy of the State with the late Gene Hackman and Will Smith. So those two things together, like snap, and then how rogue things can get, and we're seeing how far we're going that direction. That's iRobot. So there's a lot of things we can learn from science fiction because a lot of that it's like some people looked at it and said, "I want to do that." That's really what's happening right now. Yeah. But anyway, because I can't be sharing my screen, you're going to be looking at me the whole time. I'm just not going to take too much time to delve into much of anything else 'cause I can't share it with you. But what I can share with you is this. So this is Haha Hot Sauce, and this is um, comedian Dave, well, Dave, but it's David, Dave Yates. He makes this one, and these are the ingredients from Ha Ha Hot Sauce. And I'll tell you a little more about it: orange, pear, apple cider vinegar, garlic, onion, olive oil, sea salt, tomatoes, and Carolina Reaper. And when I got to see Dave Landau after a couple of years, we've been connected. It was great to catch up. And the MC was Dave Yates. I'm like, oh, I know this guy. He's kind of funny. No, he is funny. It's been a while. And then he brought the laughs. So then when he wrapped up his opening set and just talked about hot sauce, I'm like, is this an inside joke to something? No, no, he meant hot sauce. So then when now after the show, Dave and I were hanging out. Then I got to talk to Matt McCraw. Crawley. Oh my goodness, I'm tripping on my words. But I got to talk to Matt afterwards too. There was Dave. He had his briefcase with his hot sauce there, and I'm about to walk out of the comedy club. I'm like, man, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you rate the heat? A 6 or a 7? I'm like, oh, okay, man. I don't mind hot sauce. I don't want to be punished for the sake of being punished when I'm having a hot sauce. So then I looked at it, I was like, all right, fine, I'll take one. It's been 4 months now, and I can't tell you how many of these I bought, how many of these I've given away, and how many that have received this have gone on to get more of their own. I've had to buy hot sauce so I can have in my office because I get upset when I leave it at home because I do this isn't travel friendly, but I'm still gonna take it. It's not travel friendly, and I found out that some of my friends that love this hot sauce have been doing the same thing too. So I told Dave, like, dude, y- you might have to gauge interest about selling the travel sizes because there's a major request for them. And I've been giving this to chef friends of mine, and they're all just singing praises of the hot sauce. So it's got the endorsement of chefs. It's definitely one of my go-to favorites. I stopped having tapatio and what's that one? Tabasco. So the best way I can describe it is it has a bit of the sweetness of a tapatio with the of the kick of a Tabasco and of just a very sweet aftertaste. And it's inviting because it's not punishing you for it and it wants you back. But here's one of the things that one of my chef friends told me when he read the ingredients, like, oh, it's so good that he says apple cider vinegar because the commercial stuff, the vinegar they use burns your insides. Like, well, that's a very important thing to note. So that's info for all you guys there. Uh, Go check it out. Go, it's DaveYatesComedy.com. But if you guys go to is it hahahotsauce.com, you'll be able to get it there too. It redirects. So haha hot sauce. You can find it on the socials too, or just follow comedian Dave Yates. So here's his Yates Comedy, and that's social media. So I think it's on X and Instagram, Yates Comedy, and then haha hot sauce also on Instagram. So shout out to you, Dave. And I'm going to order up pretty soon again because we just go through it like crazy. It's really really good. Almost every meal, it complements every meal that I've had. All right, okay. So what was the thing? LA canceling the July 4th. See, I can't play this stuff for you. This was sucks because um, some of you have heard that LA is supposedly canceling July 4th celebrations because of the ice raids. It's not LA County in general, but there are some cities in LA County that are supposedly canceling it because of the ice raids is a concern. The feds will be, showing up to just round people up, blah blah blah. Look, I have very heated conversations about that, especially with family. So I thought about talking about it, but no. But let me just address this. Kudahai is one of those cities that said they're canceling the festivities. Like, what were you going to do anyway? So, in the case of Kudahai, the reason you might have heard about it is because the vice mayor of Kudahai recorded herself and posted social media encouraging the gangsters in Kudahai to take action, violent action, I might add, against ICE agents. So, just to give you an idea how big Kudahai is, you could probably walk 3 blocks and that's it. It's like your neighborhood is probably bigger than Kudahai. It's a really small speck inside LA County, but not the only ones. There are other LA cities in LA County that have been supposedly canceled because of the ice raids. But it's not all LA. But yes, LA County and LA City Incorporated are run by communist socialists, Marxists. Take your pick. It's all the same to me, and it's all run by them. And it's ridiculous that if it's not their parents, it's their parents' that escaped those forms of government only for their children to be indoctrinated by schools here that they attended to, that they would then go and take over all these political positions. That's what's annoying. It's like, dude, my people, it's like you left those countries because they were ravaged by war, the revolutionaries, only to show up, not do your part in raising your children right, and now they're voting for the very policies that you escaped from. It's insane. It's just like Californians leaving to other states and still voting blue. It's the same concept. One thing that irritated me, 'cause I grew up in a Hispanic church, but the Hispanic church was made up of a bunch of different ethnic backgrounds because we're an ethnicity and we're not a race. So there was a lot of Central American, South American, Mexican, and all that there. We're all mixed in. We all didn't speak the same Spanish either. So some of the words that we use, we didn't understand one another. But as I grew up, the next generation grew up afterwards. So when I started seeing some young punk wearing a Che Guevara shirt, and I saw him at church, like, dude, do you know what you're wearing? And he looked at me with a smug face, like, yeah, I know what I'm wearing. I'm like, okay, yeah, and you're here in God's house wearing that piece of crap. Stupid. That's the level of idiocy that happens, and it has a lot to do with the upbringing, which in this case happens to be the schools. Because I know that a lot of people are very hardworking, but sometimes to make ends meet because they have a low skill job. Sometimes they need two jobs to make ends meet. Who's raising your kids? The nanny state. In this case, the indoctrination centers known as the Los Angeles Unified School District, one of the most liberal, if not the most liberal, Marxist organizations in the country. So of course they're going to indoctrinate these youths, and it's no surprise that they grew up the way they do. But it's just a very sad thing, and that's why when you see what's happened with the riots recently, anybody that lives here, we're like, oh, there they go again. It happened when the Dodgers win. It doesn't really happen when the Lakers win, but then when the Dodgers win, it's like, oh, there they go, they're rioting. These are adolescent youth that do it, and then those that did grow up and just never learned their lesson, they just go out there and try to feel alive again. But when Trump said he's going to liberate Los Angeles, I'm like, damn, yeah, we're occupied for sure. But like I said, I've had very heated conversations because, of course, family's been sending me videos and like, it's like, look, they're arresting the jardineros, like, and the way they're going about it, and ICE agents are beating on some of these people and all that, and the concerns like, what, they're gonna revoke citizenship of some individuals, and I'm like, this is all on the news, and it's really hard for me to contradict what they see because their worldview is shaped up by the news. That's why I'm like, dude, I do what I do to combat that. Um, all that fake propaganda out there, but not all of it is fake propaganda. So it's I've said before from the very get-go, I said this even last year, because I'm like, yeah, I voted for all this. I never said it's gonna be pretty, but you can't expect to fix it like this, like overnight. That the immigration issue is not gonna be fixed overnight. It's gonna take generations, yo. Especially with all these presidents before Trump allowing the system to get to the way it was. So it's not like, oh, Trump's gonna wave a magic wand, it's gonna happen. No, securing the border is one thing. To actually deal with the criminality that stems from illegal migrants with repeat offenses. Not just that, you also have the American citizens that have been committing crimes and things like that, and you have very relaxed DA. So that's why we got rid of George Gascon in Los Angeles and replaced him with someone that's a little more like enforcement of the law. But it was never going to be pretty. It was going to look ugly. And I said, it's like, dude, you're going to start ripping people away from their homes. Or what happened to a friend of mine that works at a, well, I can't say where she works, but let's just say that there was a school, it was a graduation, and ICE shows up to this graduation, starts pulling some people away. And these little kids that were celebrating their graduation, and now they're all their experiences of a joyous day are marred by the fact that, oh, my tío, tia, prima, whatever has been hauled away by these masked agents and taken away. No, it's gonna look, the optics are awful. I've said that for years. And I especially highlighted it last year because I knew like Trump's gonna win, and we're voting for him to do something about this, especially after allowing so many illegals in through open border policies. But all I could say to all of that is this, because I'm a first generation American, and a lot of the stuff does hit home. And for those of you on locals, it's going to be timing out here in a moment. So if you'd like to, just jump over to Rumble and you can continue watching the live stream. But thank you for your support over on locals. And so with it's I guess what makes it really difficult is perspective. How do you make people understand all this? Because some, like I said, it needs to happen. It's just that it sucks that it's playing out in that way, and some people that did vote for this are upset about voting for it. I didn't vote for this kind of stuff. I thought they're gonna take the criminal, illegal aliens, like the violent ones. I thought they're gonna be dealing with them, and now they're just dealing with all of them. They didn't break any laws. Well, there is one law, It's but uh, like I said, it's such an emotionally charged topic. I like family telling me you gotta carry your passport because they're gonna discriminate against you because of racial profiling. It's like, I'm not carrying it. I don't need it. Like, I also understand the fear mongering is happening because of the media. But there is one particular story that's also, it's sad, about this girl that's she got her hand, I think it was bitten off by a bull shark in Florida, off the Florida Keys, I think. And three men jumped in to save her. One of the first ones to jump into the water, if not the first, and that's try to scare off the shark, is credited as the dude. I don't know his name. And just yesterday, it was making the socials that he got rounded up to be deported. Now, how was he targeted? That's the part that they don't tell you. He was driving without a driver's license, and that's what they detained him for. And then there's the rumors about the removal of naturalized citizenship. It's like, well, they're going to remove it from you. And the news was trying to make a big heyday out of that, and supposedly giving more power to ICE agents to make that determination. I have a hard time even just believing that. But the thing is, the situation that was occurring, I did see some of this actually happening, were against very disgusting people, and the media wouldn't tell you their crimes. And some of that, because I'm streaming to YouTube, I can't even tell you what their crimes are. But let's just say there's a lot of trafficking involved. So I don't want those people here, and they're not upholding the Constitution. So no. But is it a slippery slope to have that, or to give that much power to an agency to determine by, let's say, a disgruntled agent to, like, I'm going to revoke your citizenship? It's a scary prospect because this is our current president. Okay, for those of us that voted for him, it's like, well, it doesn't affect me because I voted for him. There's a guy that voted for Trump. His wife, Iranian, was detained. That was news that broke today. Iranian wife. She's She came here when she was 3 years old. So this is someone that's been here for a very long time. She was detained for supposedly a crime that was committed 15 years ago, something about a $200 fine, something like that. And the guy said, well, he still supports Trump. He understands, and he believes there'll be a misunderstanding that they'll be able to get rectified. I just need to remind people that it was a conservative president that gave us the Patriot Act. That was George W. Bush. And guess what it was used against in the name of security? It was supposed to weed out those that meant Americans harm, but it was utilized against American citizens. So, yeah, it's our team jersey right now, but it's also a very slippery slope. That's why I'm against this whole Palantir thing with the Trump administration. Like, why are they involved? Hey, you guys, I played the video in my last stream about Maha wanting to track us with our health devices and all that. Check that stream out. And OpenAI being involved with the government too. It's like, dude, a lot of this is scary prospects. So those are some conversations I'll be delving into more with someone in the field about this. But that episode's probably going to be sometime in August, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, I didn't mean to talk so much about this, especially without me being able to share anything. And for those of you tuning in just now, thank you so much. I was supposed to present things to you, but for some reason, I can't even share a freaking tab. And that's after I wasn't even able to deploy the freaking camera. So a lot of issues with the technology today, but at least I'm able to stream something to get these thoughts out before they get too old. But to close this all out, uh, I was going to talk about the woke left and the woke right. First off, the expression is stupid because it's a fallacy already, because that's not what the word means. But the right thinks that they're owning the left by using a word that doesn't mean that it does and just labeling it as an insult. Fine, you're using leftist tactics, but then we've seen the right become the very thing that they hate, and the it can all be seen in this whole thing between Trump versus Elon, this whole thing between Israel versus Iran. I put up a clip from an interview that I did back in June, very early June, with the host of Epoch Times California Insider program. The host's name is Sam Akrami. And that interview was in the works for weeks, and we met way before then to just break the ice. Cause we've been familiar with one another in our work, but we never actually got a chance to talk to one another. So after being able to have some actual FaceTime and meeting up and just getting along very very well, we said, all right, let's do this. Let's do this interview. And we did it, and I published it, and I took some clips from it. There was a particular thing because I did ask him, "Can we talk about Iran? Because that's where you stem from. Is it okay we talk about Iran?" And he said, "Oh, absolutely. I can definitely talk about that." And so I took that clip, and sure enough, before I even posted the clip, the interview was already posted. But when I was preparing to post the clip, this whole Israel Iran thing happens. So then I finally published the clip about a few days later because I it's to advertise the entire conversation. People weren't even watching the clip and calling me out for being some kind of Zionist shill. And it's like, dude, did you guys even bother to see the 60-second clip? Where in there do I mention anything Israel? And it really upsets me because some people cannot get out of their freaking biases, left or right, and even among the right, a lot of fractures, whether they're in the MAGA cult or in the extreme right, where they're just they just get all into their conspiracies. If everything is a freaking psyop, nothing is, okay? So it's like it so sickens me that people are blinded, and to them they think they're open-minded and they're enlightened. No, you're so sure in what you know to be true without evidence in most cases, that's called faith, man. That's called the religion. So I posted this clip and I'm getting all this hate, and then I realized that because I posted it across a lot of places, and almost everyone was saying the same thing, attacking me. I'm like, dude, where the hell am I talking about Israel? Anything here? I was talking about the CCP and Iran and how the Iranian government is not its people, especially because I have friends there in Tehran, and I'm having to just check on them daily. It's like making sure you're okay, and she's like, well, that bomb was pretty close. It sucks to be in that position, to be worried about your friends that you care about, then they're in harm's way. That's crazy. And it's just, I'm making the case to defend Iran in some cases, and I will still be called a Zionist shell. There's no, there's no breaking through with some people. But anyway, don't be that. Just don't be that. I believe in healthy discourse. If everybody's shouting, nobody's listening. I used to be one of those people that would shout everybody down. Okay, I was a political activist. I had my college days. And I look back on them like, ah, man, I wish I would have gone about it a very different way. That's why in growing up, you get wiser if you learn from your mistakes and realize, dude, there was a better approach. And sure enough, there's a lot of things I wish I could take back to do them a little differently, kind of like this stream. That's why I call it Take Two, because the stupid technical difficulties. But this whole woke right, woke left business, I hate the labels, and I know people credit James Lindsay with it. Would you like to see me talk to him? I could probably get him on the show because I had his buddy, and I'm connected with him. I had his buddy on the show too, so like maybe I could bring him on the show. It's just that I do not want a Jordan Peterson type of conversation here where it looks like I'm agreeing because I don't. But I have to speak in these philosophical terminologies that go over people's heads just to show that, oh, I speak so much smarter than you do, even though I'm just saying platitudes and really nothing of substance. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I'll think about it. But anyway, I think that's enough for me to leave it. That's 5:07. Damn. Yeah, I was gonna go shorter than that, but the stress test, I hope it worked out because those of you who have Substack are seeing this for the first time, as this is my first official live stream there. Substack is now the official home for my podcast because they are the hub. What I like about them is that I'll be able to, um, correctly put podcasts out into the feed. I'll be able to post my videos there and auto sync to YouTube as well. So it helped you with the show notes, which also means putting them easier on my website. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say other than it's 4th of July weekend. We're gonna celebrate hard, and I could not be more grateful to live in this country of ours. And to this whole immigration thing, I'll say to all of you what I've had to say to my family, where it's like when Nayib Bukele does it for El Salvador, and you see all the benefits, you all cheer. If America tries it, it's a dictatorship. They didn't even do anything anywhere as near as looking dictatorial in El Salvador. Have you seen Nayib Bukele's feed? I mean, I didn't know what I was watching at the time. I didn't support the guy. Not to say that I had anything against him, other than like, dude, that does not sound like a Hispanic last name. Who the heck are you infiltrating a Hispanic country? And what are you going to do? And his father being an imam, I assumed there was going to be a Muslim running a Catholic country. So I'm like, why would Catholics vote for a Muslim? They didn't. They voted for a Christian. So I'm like, that's interesting. And then you see everything that's happened since. It's been incredible. And the whole world called him out to be a dictator. But where was the homicide capital of the world? Well, it was between Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. But El Salvador overtook him for a while. And then the transformation that's happened. But I saw the videos. I'm like, dude, that's pretty scary. But I don't have to be scared of if I haven't done nothing wrong. That's the excuse to let go of your civil liberties. But when you have all these soldiers and doing night raids through all the streets, just closing down all these neighborhoods and basically cities and just pulling people out of their homes and stuff, man, some of that stuff look really hardcore. Like, dude, that's the optics look awful, but it's being done like a celebratory video. So I'm like, that was pretty much propaganda. But some people are looking over here and ICE doing something very similar, and just calling it all out to be, just Gestapo stuff and whatever. It's just everything is optics. All I can do is just try to educate people, have actual conversations, try to cut through the emotional and get to the core issue. There's context to everything. Getting a video of what happened in Santa Ana that I posted on my socials, by the way, of this jardinero, a gardener that was just doing his rounds, father of 3 U.S. Marines, and he gets beaten up by ICE agents. That's the video that the media ran with. What they didn't show was what led up to it, because I wondered the same thing. Did the ICE agents quite literally just attack this guy because he was running away scared? No, there is confrontation that happened before that. Not to say that I agree that ICE did it while the guy was trying to do his rounds, but the guy had a weed whacker, and he swung it at the ICE agents. That's assault. And I cut my own yard, so I know how dangerous it can be because I'm always telling my kids to get away. So in seeing that, I'm like, oh my goodness, just if you didn't resist, just like we said for all those BLM incidents that happened, it's like, dude, all you had to do was just not resist arrest. It's the same thing applies here. But it's without condoning or condemning, I'm just commenting on it, and we'll see where things go. This is only just the beginning, and we'll see how this alligator Alcatraz also turns out. Just a lot of stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much. For those who've been watching this long, I appreciate you all. For those of you watching in the aftermath, thank you so very much. I recommend you watching this at 1.5 times speed. It really helps. This is I do have to get going. Thank you very much. Celebrate responsibly. Be safe out there. Fireworks have been exploding everywhere. Crazy. I don't know how much of this is intentional, but trust me, I will talk about it. And next week, I will talk tech because I have a lot of issues with Samsung, and I was right about a few things, and I was right about Trump Mobile. That's going to be for Tuesday. So hopefully you'll follow me across social for any updates. Hopefully no more technical difficulties. They're all ironed out by then, and I have to share a lot of stuff. And I think Tuesday's the eve before the event from Samsung, so I'll have a lot to say because I'm both happy and pissed at them. Yeah, and also Trump Mobile was taking you so long. And I might do a Thursday stream, just teasing it here. A lot of questions have been asked for the Unplugged team. I forwarded some of my own also to the Unplugged team today. So they're usually quick about responding. If they do, then I'll do another edition of answering your Unplugged phone questions. Okay. Thank you so very much, everybody. And thank you, Rumble, for letting this tool be more improved as time goes on. This is pretty cool. That's it. See you in the next one.